Ready? Hit it.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 10, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, howdy. I am Charlie Simons, your host here on To Do Talk. Do Not Talk. Take two. Howdy. I'm Charlie Simons, host of Do Not Talk, talking about two things you're never supposed to talk about: politics and religion. One decides what life is going to be like here on Earth. The other one decides what it's going to be like when we leave it. The silent majority has found its voice. It needs to get louder now. We're up against a lot of nefarious people who we think are on our side. They have the same name. They have an R following their name. I'm a Christian conservative, unapologetic, and been that way for an awful long time. It's amazing how many in my own party don't seem to like what I do, don't seem to like what I say. And then I meet people like Jim Shoemaker, who's on my show today. And I'm like, man, we need people like this running our government locally, statewide, nationally. Local action equals national impact. So very true. And until we get that, and until we come together and we actually rally behind people who are stepping up and stepping out and speaking out, like Jim Shoemaker, we're just going to get nothing but the same old, same old. Look what's happening in Los Angeles right now. The worst governor this state has ever had has done nothing to quell the riots down there. He seems to be loving it. They're delivering bricks, leaving them on street corners overnight. So when they get there, there's plenty of things for these protesters to throw against our own law enforcement, against our own local businesses, against our own family-owned and operated businesses and companies. This is insane. And then when my president steps up and goes, yeah, no, we're not having a repeat of what happened in Seattle and Portland. Yeah, no, that's not happening. What happened in Minneapolis and Maryland and all that stuff during the whole BLM thing and so on. That's not happening now. We're going to stop this. What does Governor Hare do? What's his action? Whining, complaining, and suing our own federal government and our president for taking action against what's happening in the Los Angeles area. LA is just the beginning, by the way. Just the beginning. You just wait. Mark my words on that. I wish it weren't true, but it's going to happen because it's highly orchestrated and paid for, obviously. If you could like this show right now, wherever you're watching, YouTube, Facebook, on rumble.com/DoNotTalk, hit that like button right now. You'll help change the algorithms and help this show grow. So please hit that like button. I'll wait. Thanks. And share these shows. Also, you can contribute if you can help. You can find me at charliesimons.com. You have to find me there now. Can't find me on Facebook. All my pages have been deleted. Every single one of them this past Friday. I don't even know what it was. They didn't tell me what it was. They didn't give me a warning. They didn't say, fix this, delete this. We're not going to be allowing this, or you're in trouble. Nope, just done. You're done. All my pages. 2 different email addresses because I had a personal page, C. Lee Simons, and then I had my media page, Charlie Simons. They're gone. My Charlie West page for my country radio stuff that I do, gone. My Do Not Talk page, gone. I've written several, whatever I could find. Good luck getting a hold of Facebook. There's not even a phone number. You can't call and talk to anybody and go, what did I do? What was it that you were so upset about? What went against your community standards? Which I don't know what community you're talking to, but in my community, they seem to agree with me. What did I do? What did I say? Nope, nothing. No response. So I was talking with a friend of mine, Bruce Bodlak, and he said he's a media guy, big time. And he said, I'd be contacting your congressional representatives. You should be giving a call to Kevin Kiley and to Tom McClintock and talk to somebody in their office and go, "Hey, I thought you were working on this. I thought you were fixing all this. Why don't you get Mark Zuckerberg back in front of Congress there and have him answer some questions? I thought he was not going to be ruling with an iron fist against conservatives, especially Christian conservatives." I've had posts deleted that were just quoting scripture. This is crazy. And now it's gone. It's all gone. Over 20,000 followers and people who like the pages and gone. So, still got Rumble. Thank God for Rumble. Rumble.com/DoNotTalk. You can follow that page while you're there. Be sure and like this show, like I said, and follow it. You'd be helping tremendously. And go to my website now more than ever. Put that in your, make it a favorite so that you can go there anytime because I'm putting my shows on there now. You can actually watch the shows even if everything else shuts down or they shut me down, shut me out of it. You can still find me at charliesimons.com and you can help financially contribute because I need a new computer pretty badly. I would sure appreciate it. charliesimons.com, CharlieSimons.com, and follow that there. I got to meet Jim Shoemaker at a what they call CRA, California Republican Assembly Convention, a couple of years ago now, and I just liked him right out of the gate. One of those dudes, very plain spoken, doesn't hold back, great sense of humor. He's really funny as heck, and I'm like, this is exactly what this party needs. Hello, Jim Shoemaker. Welcome to Do Not Talk again.
Hey, Charlie, how are you?
I'm borderline amazing.
There you go.
No more Facebook presence, but at least for now. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's amazing to think all that can just be done, that quick that they can erase everything that you've done over these years. That's
No
great.
explanation. Yeah, well, 18 years, almost 2 decades of my life, I've been with Facebook. Everything was on there, but no explanation. That was the weirdest thing. They didn't even tell me what it was that they found so offensive. Nothing. Wow. And they're not responding back to me either. I wrote appeals at fb.com. I wrote what's the other one? There's like an admin kind of address too. I wrote them, and I've written 3 different email addresses I was able to find explaining what's this? What happened? What's my recourse? And nothing. 0 response back. There's no phone number. Good luck. You can't even call Facebook and talk to somebody.
That's the thing with the social media. If you don't control it, they can do whatever they want with it and run with it. And it's frustrating that, how we've come to utilize it for so many things now, getting information out or talking to people, that they can have their experts pick and choose what they decide they're going to have a platform that, is really public domain at this point.
And anybody who's competing with them, they either do everything they can to get them shut down or they buy it.
Yep.
Like Facebook owns Instagram, Google owns YouTube, and it's wicked. Those are monopolies, aren't they now?
Yeah.
But every time anybody talks about breaking them up, Mark comes in and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. We'll play nice. No more fact checkers." Yeah, you're right. You fired all your fact checkers. You don't have to pay them anymore because it's all done with AI now.
Yeah, exactly. They're still accomplish the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad.
And it's worse than ever now with the censorship, and I don't know how to overcome it when my own fellow conservatives don't even go over to Rumble. They're like, I watch everything on YouTube. You do for now. For how long? And by the way, your guys who are still on YouTube, they have to curb their language. They can't even speak to you honestly and openly. You got religious groups on these social media platforms who are talking about cutting your head off and how much they hate you and kill all Christians. That's okay.
Yeah.
But I can't even, I don't know what I posted. Again, I don't even know what it was that upset them. They didn't even tell me.
Yeah, well, that's what my wife dealt with many times, especially during our campaign, putting stuff out and getting put in the doghouse or whatever they call it, and just had a very wonderful lady that's been a supporter of mine for a number of years. She's in her 90s, and she just told me she's on a hiatus for 190 days or something. And she goes, I have no idea what I did on there. And I go, this is bad. I mean, for a long time, the conservative Christian factions have been attacked and maligned and viciously attacked, to be honest, for many years. And that these organizations that so-called, accept everybody other than Christians, is a challenge. I mean, our nation is suffering because we removed scripture, we removed the Bible, removed everything out of schools. We don't teach our children values anymore. And just like what's going on in LA today, being instigated by a communist mayor who should be tried and executed for dereliction of duty. I don't know if I said that or not, but
Karen Bass is amazing,
I
amazingly horrible.
yeah,
And who was it I was talking to just last week? And they say Karen Bass, when she runs for reelection, this is just her first term, she will be reelected. And I'm like, no, come on,
yeah.
really?
Well, when the fix is in, especially in LA, that they can get somebody with the track record that she has of violence and vile words and language that she's used and the threats that she's put out over her the past number of years in her life, and then to end up being the mayor of the largest city, and the people, and then to sit here and say there's no violence going on, that they didn't. This is the same thing that they've been doing over the last number of years. You mentioned it earlier, the Black Lives Matter during COVID, all of the same situation. You can go burn everything down. You can destroy private property, destroy businesses, destroy people's livelihoods, and then threaten law enforcement for doing their job. And the idea that now we have a United States Senator from California who should also be tried because of we all, every single person that's elected takes the same oath as the president of the United States. And when you sit there and neglect the duty of that oath because you're so stuck up and you're basically a piece of garbage, and there's a lot more language that should be used to describe them. But this man, I just saw somebody sent me, talking about how there was no violence until the National Guard was brought in. I said, I still have a lot of friends that live in the Los Angeles area who have businesses and live there. And my daughter lives down there and with her husband. And it's like, I'm concerned for their safety because the mayor and the leadership and the police chief who are neglecting their duty to defend honest citizens, not illegals, not criminal aliens, not infiltrators into our country, and not anarchists. They're going to defend those people, and they're going to allow innocent people to suffer and potentially be hurt and injured. And then, like our law enforcement, I'm sorry, these guys, ICE went, got a legitimate judge, got a warrant, they've done all the due diligence they're supposed to do, and to carry out the arrest of these people. And then I believe this is only me, but I believe that the mayor and her office gave notice ahead of time to every one of these raids or whatever, when they were going to arrest somebody, that they gave that information out. So there could be this onset of paid anarchists that are showing up. And I'm sorry, but our nation needs to be protected. And I think Trump's doing the job to do that. And I know a lot of Hispanics, a lot of Mexicans. I go, I'm sorry, but I'm related to a whole lot of, I'm not sorry, I'm related. They're great, great people. They're great brother-in-laws. They're my daughter's husband. And I go, my son's wife. I go, so don't call me a racist. I accept them, but here's the deal. You come here illegally, you're an illegal. You have zero rights in this nation.
And it doesn't
Zero.
matter. It doesn't matter what
That's
race
right.
you are. It
That's
doesn't
right.
matter what race they are.
Exactly.
Because there were hundreds of thousands coming over the border from
Yep.
China,
Yeah.
from all over
Yep.
the world, not just Central and South
Mexico.
America.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the dilemma. We have a leadership. We have no adults in the room. We have no adults running the show. We have honestly, Mayor Bass is an anarchist. She's a full-blown communist. She wants the destruction of this nation. And if she can infiltrate and do what she's doing, that's what her plan is. And that's what all of the Democratic Party is today. I know a lot of Democrats that are walking away from the Democrats. They're going, this isn't the party. And I go, okay, well, it's nice that you finally woke up, but here it is. I got friends all through the Central Valley here, hardworking people, every one of them hard work. I don't care what nationality or what skin color they are. We all on the same page. We're responsible for our individual actions. I can't be responsible for these groups, but I am responsible for myself. And you know what? They hold up their family values. They want to raise their children, and they don't want this craziness. So, however, Bass, whatever happens with her, I mean, like I said, she should be impeached right now, and she should be tarred and feathered and thrown out of the government and thrown out of the country, as far as I'm concerned. But what we're dealing with a governor that has neglected his duty, who's he's never worked a day in his life. He doesn't know what hard work is. He's been buttered up and softened up, and his brain is soft. So it's, we know we got issues. This is a challenge that we're dealing with. Just like in my case, running for the 9th congressional seat now. I'm running for Congress here in San Joaquin County in the Central Valley, just south of Sacramento. But in doing that, we are looking at the fact that Hispanics and Mexicans and all through the Central Valley are coming over to the Republican side. And they're doing that because they want the values for their families. They want to raise their families and know that there's security and safety and jobs for them to work. And they don't want to be living in Mexico. They don't want to live in Central America. They don't want to live in a lot of these other countries. I deal with a lot in the Indian communities. I get a lot of support from them. Why? Because they're here because of what our values are. And they're asking me, what is wrong? Why is the U.S. turning away from the values that made us a great nation? And I said, well, you got to look at the leadership. Those who are in power today, those that are holding those reins. I go, they want total control. They want to manipulate everything we do. They want control. They want us in 15-minute cities. People need to understand what that means. Get you out of the country, get you ever, and then control you. So they want you in electric vehicles. Why? So they can shut them off. We're not building power plants in this state. We're relying on China for our solar cells, China for our windmills. And I go, we need power. Why is China building, what is it, four or eight coal plants a month and 2 or 3 nuclear plants a month also? They're bringing that much power online, and we're shutting power down. And now we're losing 2 refineries in the state. I believe we're going to be down to 6 refineries now in the state of California. So now our refined gasoline that we use is going to have to come by ship from Saudi Arabia or other countries that aren't even friendly to us. And Californians are going, of course, what's going to come out of the governor's mouth and all these Democrats that are out there? Oh, they're gouging us. They're raising the price. They're doing this. Why is Texas at $2.30 a gallon right now? I mean, somebody told me $1.99 somewhere. I don't know where that is, but I heard $2.30, $2.38, something like that. A gallon of gas, and we're paying we're over $5. I said, this is the nonsense. And where we are, yeah. And Charlie, I mean, you and me have had these conversations before, and that is, people have got to wake up and realize their vote matters. Their vote matters. They need to go out, whether they, listen to the rhetoric or not. Our campaign is doing everything it can for voter integrity to make sure our votes count. We're looking at all this stuff. I previously ran for the state Senate, the 5th Senate district up here. I was one of 3 Republican candidates, and that was Donald Trump for president. We had Steve Garvey for U.S. Senate, and myself for a state Senate seat. We were the 3 top Republican vote getters in San Joaquin County, which encompasses for this congressional race 96% of it. But my other portion, that other portion was over in the Bay Area, which is the Tri-Valley, Alameda area. We found over 70,000 ballots were probably fraudulent and also wrong, and they ended up certifying those ballots. So, this is what we're dealing with. But the good part, and how I will win this congressional seat for the people, is we now have a track record of what we've done, and we have it all itemized out on all the voting in this area. And we know that if I had run for Congress in this district, I would have beat Josh Harder, the Democrat, with the numbers being equal. And that's what I'm saying. There's a shift so great in the Central Valley right now that men of every persuasion are coming on board with the Republicans. But it also goes back to what you had mentioned earlier, Charlie. The Republican Party's not perfect. The Republican Party has plenty of globalists and internationalists in it that have ulterior motives. And I've been fighting that for 40 years. Okay. So when you're not the darling of that group, they are always doing something. So we're trying to reach out now in this campaign. I mean, my God, we're starting. It's a year from the primary. And we're already starting a campaign running for this congressional seat, trying to get out there, raise money, get people informed, and get them to understand this is a battle that we're in for the heart and soul of California, but also for our nation. Donald Trump needs to maintain a congressional majority when we come up to the next deal. Otherwise, we're going to be in a massive problem.
That's vital for next year, because if he loses the House, if he loses the House, and if we lose the House and the Senate, he's dead in the water.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to be able to accomplish anything.
Exactly. And that's why, this is what's interesting. Right now, the National Republican Party has put out 25 seats in the United States that are flippable seats. We have 4 seats in California, the 9th, the 13th, and 2 in Southern California in the Orange County area. But there's also another group that's out there that's putting out that we might have 5 seats now for Republican flipping in the Central Valley. So the 9th is the number 1. We are the closest to being able to flip this seat right here. The 13th is also another real good one. We just lost that. That was John Duarte's seat. We lost it by 187 votes. Now, that's a seat we can get back also if we get some good candidate, the right candidate in that seat. So, and we're working on that. In my campaigning and all my time helping or hundreds of other people, we need to learn how to work together, utilize our resources better to help each other so that we can not look at this in a selfish vantage point of this is about me and my campaign, but it's about all of what we can accomplish if we get others and help them in their seats also. That's where the Republicans have failed for so long. Democrats have a bench they're looking out almost 10, 15, 20 years for positions for these people that are in office or who are potentially running for office right now. So that's what we need to do. And we need people who will help focus into that area so we can start moving the needle to a better and safer area for us. Because
don't give a dime to the state party. Do not give a dime, no matter how nice those emails sound and how cute Corinne Rankin is. Don't give a frickin' dime to the California Republican Party.
Yeah. Well,
maybe your central committees, but really find a candidate you like Jim Shoemaker.
Yeah.
Give to them because they can accomplish great things. But right now they're being starved out. They're not even being supported by our own party.
Yeah. And I'm going to say something. Look at that, dropping everything here.
Earthquake.
Yeah. Wow. California. The dog hit the door. Well, I'm gonna say something, Charlie. I was not a Corinne Rankin supporter when she ran for chair, but I am going to say something right now. More has been done now that I have seen in the last 10 or 12 years, where at least, and I have given her credit publicly and to her face. I congratulate her on the fact that they are at least pushing an agenda where they're attacking the Democrats and they're putting something out. But it's going to take a while. It's going to take a lot more than that to win people over, that the party will support our candidates. And that's where, and I go, that's my caveat right now. And it's like, where we are, the party is what they're doing. I mean, even the Republican Assembly of California, and I'm talking about the legislature, not the CRA, but the legislature. They are now putting their own PACs together outside the Republican Party.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, to start raising money. And this is the challenge. The party, it's going to take a long time for people to come back and look at the party as a reliable source, because I will say, under Jessica Patterson, that was one of the worst times this party have ever had.
Truly.
And helping candidates and working with others, and even in my own races, not getting any support when all we needed. I mean, the resources in my campaign, our resources were spent so wisely and frugally. We beat people that dropped $2 and $3 million against us, and we came out ahead. I mean, just in my own primary, there was over $4 million spent, and we only raised, I think it was 48,000, and we came in number one against both those people. And in the general election, we were outspent. I don't remember what it was, $16, $18 to one or something. And yet our numbers came in here, like I said, in the San Joaquin County, in this area, we came out as the number one vote getter Republican in the region. So locally. So I think, you know what? We've been blessed with a lot of wonderful support, over 300 volunteers that were helping in the campaign. And I'm not one to sit down and not work. And, I got wore out running all over, but you know what? We're ready for this fight. We're going to take this fight, and we're going to win it this time. We will take back the 9th congressional seat with everybody's help all over. I've been making phone calls all over the country and all over the state. And we have been our campaign was one that has very much surprised me on how much people were watching what we did. So but I give credit 100% to the volunteers that came aboard our campaign, because without them, we couldn't accomplish what we have.
If you've never had the opportunity of seeing Jim speak, there's some videos you can catch on his website. He does not hold back, and I love that. I appreciate that. And like I was saying with Paul Jones down in SoCal, he was on before you, and I said, "You want to make sure I don't vote for you? Here's all you have to say: I'm going to reach across the aisle and work with the Democrats."
Yeah.
They're not working with you. They don't care about you. They want you to sit down and shut up, and they're going to control things. They don't even include us in the planning of bills. We're not invited to any kind of sessions. It's all closed door crap. And I'm done. I'm done. I don't want anybody to play nice. Trump turned this state around.
Yeah.
Turned this state around. We saw more red than I've ever seen in my lifetime in this state. And but yet we have a party. We have central committees. We have a state party that's still saying, yeah, we don't want anybody who's too MAGA. We don't want anybody who's so outspoken like that. We're gonna go middle of the road.
Yeah.
That's what got us into this problem in the first place. That's
Charlie,
not going to win.
Charlie, I got to tell you that I got inundated with that in my campaign. I was told I needed to moderate my stance. I needed to don't talk about Trump. I need to. I was too conservative, too MAGA, too Christian, and too pro-life. I go. And that was told to my face. And and then I had consultants telling me that I would lose a lot of votes. I'd lose a lot of support. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I spoke in temples, synagogues. I spoke I spoke in, there's no group I did not speak in front of or break bread with. And I'll tell you today, they come to me with respect. I didn't compromise. I am a Christian. I've been a Christian and I'm a pro-life guy. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't back down on any of those issues that I was told I needed to. And at the end of that last election cycle, they were coming to me to come to their events. They wanted me at their events. They wanted me and our volunteers to come. And I'd have volunteers go, "Why are we going there?" And I said, "You know what?" I was asked, "Yeah, but they didn't do anything for you, Jim. They're not."
Oh, shoot. Let's wait a second, see if he is able to come back on. There he is. Okay, good. Hello,
all,
buddy.
all my best speech.
I know, it was right in the middle, man.
Yeah. Wow. Well, good deal. Well, I got about 5 minutes. I got some calls I have to deal with at 3. So, but
Well, finish your thought though, if you can. You
Okay.
left off with you were speaking to all these different groups,
Oh
and they
yeah.
were telling you, our own party was telling you, you need to
Yeah.
dial it down, and you said,
Yeah.
no, I don't. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I'm going to keep being me. And the results of it were,
I got the highest vote count. I even beat Trump in San Joaquin County, and he won San Joaquin County. So don't get me wrong. We're talking only a few hundred vote difference, but you know, no, we didn't compromise. And I tell people I've had debates with people that totally disagree with me. When we ran our campaign, we knocked on Democrat doors, hardcore Democrat doors. Never voted any other way but Democrat. You know what I got asked? What are you? And I tell them I'm a Republican. Good. I'm not voting for Democrats anymore because I kept doing it, and they're destroying our families, and the crime is going through the ceiling. That was roughly the general out of thousands of doors that I knocked and talked to personally. That was the general conception. I had one hardcore progressive I talked to, and he was funny because at the end of it, he looked at me and he says, "You know what? I probably won't vote for you, but you got my respect because you sat here and talked with me. And you know what? I do agree with you on a few of those things." And I said, we need to tell the truth. We need to tell what's right and wrong. And if we stick to that, people will respect us and we can gain momentum with that. The idea of compromising and moving to the middle gets run over by both sides. You need to take a stand on something.
I agree.
Our founding fathers built a nation based upon those values of the Christian faith. And whether you believe or not is fine, but you know what right and wrong is. And we need to get back to where we have respect for each person because we're created by God in his image. And at the same time, we need to start educating our children. But as the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. It doesn't say teach, it says train in his ways, and we'll have a better society and at the same time more responsibility back on each individual for themselves. So,
Amen. How do
so
we find you? Where do we find you?
well, you find me at Shoemaker, Shoemaker, the number 4 Congress.com, or go to my website at Shoemaker4Congress at gmail.com.
Oh, that's your email address, you mean?
Oh, email. Oh
Shoemaker
yeah,
for,
webpage, web.com. There you go, .com. Yeah.
yeah,
You media guys know all this stuff.
we do, but yet we still get canceled and deleted.
Yeah, there you go. See, I lost all my emails. They hacked everything I had last year. So
What?
I lost all my emails I've had for 20 years and other things. We lost our websites, our Facebook pages. We got clobbered. Never could get our Facebook back to correct after twice being taken out. Yeah. So yeah, we had a lot of interesting stuff, and you know what though, the Lord was gracious, and we still pulled the numbers we did. So we're in the battle, Charlie. You're on our team, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to put it out there. And towards the end of the month, we will probably be putting our launch party together. and
Good.
get this thing officially rolling. But we're
All right.
officially rolling.
Let me help any way I can. All
You
right,
got.
my friend. I'll talk to you later.
God bless you, Charlie. Thanks so
You
much for
too.
everything.
He
You have a
does, he
great
has,
day.
and he will.
All right.
Jim Shoemaker. You want to help support him. Now you know how, and he will definitely be on again. I always love talking to him. Thank you very much for supporting me as well through charliesimons.com. CharlieSimons.com. You can catch shows there, even if everyone else shuts me down. It'll always be there on the website. Shows will be there. This show with Jim will be there. And contact information. You can contact me. You can schedule yourself to actually be on the show if you want to be on. Heck yeah, I'll talk just about anybody if I find you interesting. Absolutely. And you can give. You can help support me financially, all at one place, charliesimons.com. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, America bless God.